Modern Call of Duty isn't that scary anymore, with the latest Skibidi Toilet boss fight lowering our expectations for the franchise even more. Skibidi toilet. But what if I told you Call of Duty was once so creepy it managed to scare kids all across the world?
We can jump.
When we get older and come back to retro video games that took us so long to beat the first time, we usually just speedrun through a harder difficulty, rarely paying attention to the feel of the game. Stuff that once seemed scary in our youth usually becomes comedic when you grow up. But that isn't really the case for Call of Duty 1, a PC exclusive all the way back from 2003. It wasn't made to be scary on purpose. In fact, it was supposed to be a better clone of Medal of Honor Allied Assault, a game in which there weren't a lot of memorable characters, and most of the times you'd just venture out on your own into the green pixelated slop at a slower, more stealthier pace. You were alone for the most part, but it went the generic FPS console game route from the previous titles and told another emotional and linear Saving Private Ryan type story, and that's one of the reasons why COD 1 feels more alive. The game literally threw you into active gunfire, and it was memorable. To this day, people try to beat it on veteran. Its multiplayer is still kind of active, and the game was fun. It felt like a war-torn playground. Sure, there were no cutscenes mid-gameplay or jump scares like in the newer CODs, but that sandbox feel was exactly why some of its missions were creepy as hell. The Eater Dam. You start by getting briefed by Sergeant Waters.
Our mission is to locate as many of these anti-air guns as possible, wipe them out.
He tosses you this classic paper right before the mission starts, and then you're completely alone in a mission against 1 billion German soldiers. Oh yeah, and they also started off with this music. You're scouting over the Eater Dam from the forest, and you're in charge of making the next move. You're tasked with blowing up 9 AA guns, 6 of them being on the top of the dam with another 3 of them on the other side. You also plant explosives on the power generators and finish the mission by meeting up with Captain Price. There's only one problem. The dam is filled with patrolling German soldiers.
Granate!
Sure, you can rush your way through the first AA guns and a couple of soldiers, making it to this room right here. There's also this radio that spews out eerie German propaganda. But everything is still pretty normal. You go down the stairs, take out one more guy, and you're greeted by this working elevator with a barrel in it, and it's safe to say that you're gonna have to use this one. Hide right behind that thing, take out a few more guys, and as soon as you're in deep, they sound the alarm. And of course it goes on and on until you finish the mission. During the alarm, there's also some German speech, and it sounds a little bit like this. A little bit later, and the same guy also says this. All that followed by tight hallways, rooms that have multiple choices of entry, and the whole dam interior being built like a maze makes this map prone to a lot of jump scares. And if you're on veteran, a single melee attack can take you out, while it would take you 4 times longer to do the same damage. Aside from the alarm though, this map isn't really that dark and gritty, since there's actually more than enough lighting in these rooms, but there's an unsettling, realistic feeling with this whole mission. It's probably because the alarm sound is infinite. Most of the time there isn't any music playing, and every time you're under fire, you're the one supposed to make a move to stop it. You're basically left for dead with no squad whatsoever. It really feels like this could happen in real life, since this isn't really fiction. It's actually based on the real Eater Dam that was in fact blown up by the British, but of course not by a single guy. But COD just said, nope. Here's a health bar that doesn't automatically regenerate, and here's the whole German army. You can do it. Once you make your way through the dam, you're greeted by this long tunnel, and scary music starts playing once again. Another tight turn, and now you're in the first building. You clear the path again, and now you've made it to the outside. In this second building, however, there's 4 generators, and yep, there's Nazis hiding behind these as well.
Hello there.
You get rid of them, plant the explosives, and you're ready to blow up 3 more AA guns on the outside. Once you're done blowing up the last one, apparently you have to make your way back to the top of the dam the same way you came from because Captain Price is way too lazy. Great, I'm sure nothing can go wrong. It's not like they'll add more enemies, I mean you cleared the path, right? Oh, they will. Once you're done with these guys again, you basically have to remember the same way you came from. And it's time to make your way back through the same elevators and you finally hear a honk.
Good man! In the truck! Hop on!
It's Captain Price. Somehow he made it unscathed and he's ready to pick you up. Look at that. There isn't a single thought going through that brain. Press F, hop into the truck, and oh my god, where'd you come from? Shoot a few more Germans and I guess you're ready to go. Jesus, that was terrifying. It's one of the games that didn't really go for an alternate reality like Wolfenstein and instead tried to recreate the history as much as possible, and they didn't hold back when they made the Eater Dam. You're a lone soldier trying to disrupt the Nazi operations once again by blowing up their precious infrastructure, all on your own with enemies at every corner who have more than capable close-range rifles to take you out with a single spray, or run towards you and hit you in the head, multiple times if you will, till you load back a previous save. Stalingrad. This mission starts off the Soviet campaign. You're told how exactly you're gonna take back the city and shown a picture of Stalin. I'm not gonna read this, it's the font used in Borat, but you get the idea.
Comrade!
This day will be the proudest day you have ever lived!
You're told you have plenty of guns and food to make it through, and then your boat gets blasted by some planes, and you're sitting ducks all of a sudden. A horrible massacre later, and someone screams abandoned ship, and everyone gets pushed back in. 2 fellow comrades make it through, however, and you watch them get executed. All that in just 2 minutes. It might not seem that scary now, and it's on me for playing it before my age was double digits, but regardless, you're basically thrown back into this gruesome Soviet perspective that wasn't too common in World War II games. We were just used to this sort of guy with a name stuck to his face, and suddenly there's these poor Russians with no names, not even for the higher-ups. Some of them end up dead, and after a silent boat ride following the traitor incident, you try to get out only to get blown up again. You survive though, and after some more horrendous motion blur shell shock, there's no more boat. Some propaganda posters later, and apparently the plan is as follows.
The one without the rifle follows the one who has the rifle. If the one with the rifle is killed, the other one must take up his rifle and shoot.
And guess what? You don't get the rifle, you get the ammo. You run behind a guy with a Soviet flag and you're blown up again. More shell shock later and you pass by a wounded soldier getting dragged away. A few more explosions and now there's MG42 shooting at you, and there's also a lot of dead guys behind these sandbags. Clearly this mission is trying to give you PTSD. There is no gun, there is no car, you're just running around hoping you don't die. It's basically just a playable cutscene at this point. It even makes you forget that there's an objective, and apparently you have to find a better soldier. Still no gun, but now there's finally a name, Sergeant Borden. So far he's the only one with a helmet, and that's probably why he's so memorable. He's also wearing green for some reason, and he wants a clear shot on the MGs up top, and you're supposed to make a run for it and act as the bait. Again, you're shown that this could be you. You make another run and now you're safe. Another guy tries to run away, but a Russian commissar shoots him down. Borden says don't worry about it, then snipes him, and then you press this other guy for a friendly airstrike. Your screen shakes violently for what seems like an eternity, but now you're ready to take on the red square. Jesus Christ. A short loading screen later and some desperate Russians are falling back, yet Commissar executes them. Once again you still have no gun, and now you have to rush the red square screaming at the top of your lungs. For some reason this section was really interesting to me. Usually in previous missions you can wander around at your own pace, yet this 2003 mechanic makes friendlies shoot you on sight once you go backwards. As this guy puts it, you're both dead men whether you stay there or go back. The rest of the mission is pretty chill. You just run around the rubble, shoot some enemies and then some officers to stop the backup from coming through. But it's insane how dark the whole intro was. It gets worse before it gets better, and the game forces you to advance whether you like it or not. It's a horrible version of a Soviet D-Day, and even if you're not alone, the game still manages to scare the crap out of you. But that's not the end of Stalingrad. Another airstrike is called through and you have to make your way down this dark tunnel, and if you've kept got your sniper rifle, now it's the time to use it. There's this mini sniper mission where you have to take out these couple of guys and then friendlies come in for backup. There's some filler content where you just venture through the rubble, usually with a single teammate, and now you've made it to this building. A couple enemies later and now you're in the Stalingrad sewers. You can't go back even though this manhole isn't fully covered, and now you have this guy trying to creep you out over the speakers again.
There is no need for this senseless bloodshed between our nations.
This one's really creepy because he goes on, and this time he only does it in English, and this is also the first time seeing these Nazis wearing white. The game also baits you with some friendlies only for them to run away and you're suddenly on your own again. There's a lot of moments that can make you jump. You can't even shoot at these guys crossing over the sewers, and this guy keeps going on and on about how the Germans are better than the Russians.
Do not resist. Throw down your weapons and approach the nearest German patrol with your hands above your head.
Hopefully your brightness is all the way up because it's really dark in these tunnels and it really contributes to the whole feeling. A lone wolf, this time under the city, and there's no one to take you out except for the enemies who are hiding behind every corner again. You can't even go prone most of the time because of the water, but in the end you get to have some fun. You get some friendlies along with the MP44. If you had an AK it would have been even better, but that one wasn't invented yet. The Soviet campaign starts off as really gruesome, with all these things happening around you making you feel powerless. There's also a lot of tricks used to make you feel even smaller, like this infinite swarm of friendlies, half of which don't even have a gun. But my favorite of all is these commissars trying to take you out when you turn back. It really feels like you're pressured to finish the missions and you have a set path.